Have you ever stopped to consider the quality of water you drink, swim in, or you use in your daily life? Unfortunately, water pollution is a serious and growing problem around the world, with devastating effect on our environment, health, and economy. From toxic chemicals and plastic waste to agricultural runoff and sewage, there are countless sources of water pollution that threaten our freshwater and marine ecosystems. What is water pollution? Water pollution happens when harmful substances, frequently chemicals or microorganisms, invade and taint a body of water such as a river, stream, lake, ocean, aquifer, or other water sources, deteriorating the quality of water and making it toxic to both humans and the environment. The issue of water pollution is posing a significant threat to our well-being. The use of contaminated water is responsible for a greater number of deaths annually than all types of violence and wars put together. Additionally, our sources of clean and drinkable water are limited, with less than 1% of world's fresh water being accessible to us. Unless we take measures to address this problem, the situation will become more challenging by 2050, with global demand for fresh water projected to increase by one-third. The Worldwide Fund for Nature (WWF) has identified 100 cities, including 30 in India, that will face severe water crisis by 2050. Hazardous substances from industrial, agricultural, and urban areas easily dissolve and mix with it, leading to water pollution. Which are the causes of water pollution? Sewage and wastewater. Central Pollution Control Board in India has reported that around 70% of water pollution in India is caused by domestic sewage, which is untreated, and the same untreated wastewater is directly released into rivers, lakes, and other water bodies, which leads to a serious health and environmental problems. The problem is particularly acute in urban areas where the rapid growth of population and inadequate infrastructure have led to a huge increase in the amount of untreated wastewater being generated. Agriculture. Agriculture sector not only consume the largest part of the earth's freshwater resources, accounting for approximately 70% of earth's surface water for farming and livestock production, but it also a significant contributor of water pollution worldwide. Agriculture is the primary cause of water degradation, and it heavily contaminates estuaries and groundwater. When it rains, fertilizers, pesticides, and animal waste from farms and livestock operations wash nutrient and pathogens such as bacteria and viruses into our waterways. Nutrient pollution caused by excessive nitrogen and phosphorus in water or air poses the most significant threat to water quality globally, leading to a toxic mix of blue-green algae that can be detrimental to both humans and wildlife. Industrial and trade waste. While major oil spills often grab headlines, the reality is that consumers are responsible for the vast majority of oil pollution in our oceans. This includes the oil and gasoline that ships from millions of cars and trucks every day. Additionally, almost half of approximately 1 million tons of oil that enters marine environments annually originate from sources on land, such as factories, farms, and cities. Tanker spills only account for roughly 10% of the oil found in oceans worldwide, whereas one-third comes from regular shipping industry operations, including both legal and illegal discharges. Furthermore, fractures known as ships release oil naturally from under the ocean floor. Physical pollutants. Radioactive contaminants that are accidentally released or disposed of improperly pose a serious threat to groundwater, surface water, and marine resources. These contaminants come from various sources such as uranium mining, nuclear power plants, and production and testing of military weapons. Even universities and hospitals that use radioactive materials for research and medicine can contribute to the generation of such contaminants. Let us now turn to categories of water pollution. Point source pollution. Point source pollution is the term used when pollution stems from a single source. This can include legally or illegally discharged wastewater known as effluent from manufacturers, oil refineries, or wastewater treatment facilities. Other examples are contamination from septic systems that are leaking, illegal dumping, and chemical and oil spills. Non-point source. Non-point source pollution is contamination derived from diffuse sources. This may include agricultural or stormwater runoff or debris blown into waterways from land. Transboundary. It goes without saying that water pollution can't be contained by a line on a map. Transboundary pollution is the result of contaminated water from one country spilling into the water of another. Friends, it is very crucial for us to know which type of water is most affected. Groundwater pollution. When rain falls and seeps deep into the earth, filling the cracks, crevices, and porous spaces of an aquifer, it becomes groundwater, one of our least visible but most important natural resources. Groundwater gets polluted when contaminants from pesticides and fertilizers to waste leaching from landfills and septic systems make their way into an aquifer, rendering it unsafe for human use. According to the report by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, around 85% of the rural household and 50% of urban household in India depend on the groundwater for their daily needs. Surface water pollution. Friends, it is unfortunate that in spite of worshipping river as a mother and goddess in our country, we are indifferent to its maintenance and safeguarding. People do all kind of activities in the river, from defecating at the river banks to releasing harmful chemicals in its water. Surface water pollution is a significant problem in India, with many of the country's rivers and lakes being contaminated by a range of pollutants. Some of the main sources of surface water pollution in India include industrial effluents, agricultural runoff, untreated sewage, and solid waste dumping. According to a study by Central Pollution Control Board, around 60% of India's water sources are polluted. The most polluted rivers in India include the Ganga, Yamuna, and Sabarmati. The impact of surface water pollution in India is significant, including spread of waterborne diseases, negative impact on aquatic ecosystem, and decreased access to safe drinking water. The Indian government has taken steps to address surface water pollution, including the Clean Ganga Mission and the National River Conservation Plan, but much more needs to be done to protect the country's water resources. We haven't spared our ocean as well. Most of the ocean pollution, about 80%, has its origin on land, whether near the coast or far inland. Pollutants such as heavy metals, nutrients, and chemicals are transported by streams and rivers from farms, factories, and urban areas into bays and estuaries, eventually flowing out into the sea. Plastic, especially marine debris, is carried in by the wind or enters via storm drains and sewers. In addition, oil spills and leaks of all sizes can also contaminate our oceans. Moreover, the ocean is persistently absorbing carbon pollution from the atmosphere, with man-made carbon emission being responsible for up to a quarter of it.